Hi, I'm Phoenix. Welcome to my spa. Just going to take you on a little tour, take a look around. I've been a massage and spa business owner for 25 years, been a licensed massage practitioner for 25 years, and a certified aromatherapist for 21. This is my daughter's workstation. She's a cosmetologist, licensed, and she's going to be helping me a little bit today. We're going to be talking about how to create your own spa oasis at home. So we'll be focusing on the best practices that I've found over the past 25 years for not only relaxation but promoting optimal health, the best health promoting practices I've found. So join me for this presentation, Creating Your Own Spa Oasis at Home. Hi, I'm Phoenix Alexander. Welcome to my spa. Today I'm going to be doing a presentation called Creating Your Own Spa Oasis at Home. I'm going to be combining the very best health promoting practices that I have found over the years, not only that I give to my clients as spa clients, but also the things that I use for myself in my daily life. So some of the things that we're going to be covering is aromatherapy, just a basic outline of that. I'll be doing a much more thorough presentation of that in a different presentation, so wait for that. I'm also going to be showing you some acupressure points that you can use to help balance your emotions and help center and ground you and help change the emotions that might be troubling to you. We're also going to be covering hydrotherapy, so we'll be doing foot baths. In this, I have stones that are actually made to balance the chakras found in the body. And we'll be doing some masks, some hydrating, and also some scrubs. I'm also going to introduce you to the real basics of reflexology. I'm going to show you some of my favorite tools that I use for myself in reflexology, and we're going to be doing some facial steaming. So this is a more professional type of facial steamer. You can get that online. This brand is Conair, but there's a number of different brands that you can get. But we're going to pan right over this way. This is my favorite way to do a facial steam. Just get a lovely bowl, put some steaming water in it, put some essential oils in it, and put your head over it with a towel. So we're going to be doing that. We're also going to be covering body brushing. Now, body brushing has been around for centuries. In fact, Aristotle actually advocated the use of body brushing. So we'll be going through some of the benefits of that. And then we'll be talking about how to use things like a heating pack for your neck to help reinforce the cervical curve in your neck. We'll talk about an eye pillow and how that helps to relax your body. And I'll even give you some tips on how I created these. And we'll be going over some hydrotherapy in the sense of how water temperature affects the effects that you receive in hydrotherapy. We'll be doing a foot bath today, hot foot bath. And we'll talk about how to use Epsom salts, which you can find at your local drugstore. And also, this little gadget is a sock, obviously, and it has 2 racquetballs in it. And you space them out so that they fit right under the back of your head. And this helps with headaches. It's one of the ways that you can induce what they call still point in craniosacral therapy. This is a really handy little tool and not well known. So I want to teach you some of these things that you can do to create your own spa oasis and also to help promote better health for yourself. I'm also going to be adding some acupressure for emotions, as we talked about, and then also breathing patterns. So these are breathing patterns to help stimulate your lymphatic system, to help calm you down, and just to create some overall relaxation. So that's just a little overview of what we'll be covering next. I have my daughter who's going to be helping me. She is a licensed cosmetologist, and sometimes we get together and do ladies' nights together. But she has some additional information that she's going to help you with in regards to hair. And so we're going to be starting very soon. I hope that you'll stay with us and enjoy this presentation of creating your own spa oasis at home. Thank you. Welcome to our hydrotherapy section. We'll be talking about the properties of using water for therapy. We'll talk a little bit about aromatherapy. We'll show you how to do a hot foot bath. Also, a mask for your feet to help hydrate them. We'll be doing a foot scrub and then moisturizing. Additionally, my daughter Ashley Stewart is going to talk to you about some great ideas how to take care of your hair. So, we just wanted to show you these beautiful stones that are meant to balance the chakras in your body, so you get an extra benefit. Now, if you don't have these kind of stones, don't worry about it. Get some marbles, because your feet are going to want to do something while you're having your foot bath. So we'll begin in a moment. I'd like to introduce my daughter, Ashley Stewart. She's going to be joining me today, and I'm going to go over and help with the hydrotherapy foot bath, tell you a little bit more about it. So when you do a hot foot bath, you're going to want the water temperature between 103 and 110 degrees. Now, on the high side of 110 degrees, you would want to use that when you have an illness or something that would indicate the need to create an artificial fever. So this is not that hot, and you don't have to get too involved in exactly how hot it is. Just make sure that it's comfortable for you. How does that feel to have the water poured over? Pretty good. All right. So you want to make sure that you've got the water filled up to the level that it's just about ankle length. Let's turn this for you so that your feet are in it. There we go, but not right at the edge. Okay. That's it. We'll move this out of the way. So I want to talk to you about some of the benefits of a hot foot bath. Now, we're in a very, very warm day today, having a little heat wave in Seattle. So it's nearly unbearable, I'm sure, to have your feet in hot water. Am I right? So let's say it was flu season and you were trying to stay well. You would do a hot foot bath with the water as warm as you can handle it. You could also get a thermometer, such as a candy thermometer or something like that, so that you could actually gauge the water temperature. And then you would cover yourself with a towel like this or a blanket so that you're engulfed and your body heat is staying there, because this warm foot bath is going to really heat up your body. And then we would put a cool cloth across her forehead and just let her relax a little bit. Now, because we're filming, we don't want to take off all the makeup. She's carefully applied, but you would just relax like that with your blanket over the top. Now, to add an extra benefit to the hot foot bath, we're going to want to use some aromatherapy. Now, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail at this point about the aromatherapy, but I'm going ahead and let Ashley choose which of the aromatherapy scents is best for her. So that's what I do when a client comes in and we do spa treatments, and we often do a hot foot bath. Then we often do paraffin hand dip, so something for the hands and feet. And that's a couple of my most popular spa treatments. So let's go ahead now, and we're going to have Ashley choose which essential oil smells best to her. And that's one of the guides that you use when you're choosing essential oils, is what is most appealing to you, what smells best. And that's a good cue for you to know which essential oils are going to help balance your body and which is actually best for you. Now, when I'm doing a hot foot bath with my clients, I help them choose something that's a little bit more stimulating, something more invigorating for the feet. We always have to use a base when we're using essential oils, and I use Epsom salt for the base. Now, Ashley stands all day, as I do as well, and so she gets pretty tired standing on her feet. So if I wanted to do a foot bath to help take out the muscle soreness, I would use up to a cup of Epsom salts. And you can use up to a cup in a warm bath, also a bathtub. But we're going to use a little bit smaller amount right now because Epsom salts in that amount is going to increase your heart rate. It's also going to increase your body temperature, and we're a little hot as it is. So we're going to use a smaller amount. This is just a couple of tablespoons here. So Ashley, help me out. This is a nice sweet peppermint, which actually has a cooling effect on the body. I'll take that for you. Great. So you tell me if that smells good to you.
Smells good.
Uh-huh. Is there any kind of feeling that you feel or notice when you smell peppermint? Any memories or anything that you feel?
Smells like candy canes.
Candy canes, so maybe some holiday fun. This is rosemary. Rosemary is excellent for lung and sinus complaints. It's going to be uplifting, and it will help be a more stimulating effect to the nervous system. So that's a nice uplifting kind of blend. And this one is called Mental Power. It has basil and juniper. So basil, as you know, is an herb, and juniper is from a tree. And this will help stimulate your mental faculties, help you feel uplifted and bright. So which of those smells best to you?
I'd probably say the peppermint.
Peppermint it is. We'll go for some cooling. All right. So when you use peppermint, peppermint is a very strong essential oil, and it can be overwhelming to the skin, so you're only going to use small amounts. I will tell you a peppermint story at the risk. 2 to 3 drops only of peppermint. Before I was certified as an aromatherapist, I read a book that didn't give the dilution amounts and particularly didn't talk about how much stronger peppermint was than some of the other essential oils. And I thought I'd have a really romantic weekend away with my husband. We rented a hotel that had an indoor jacuzzi. So I proceeded to put 10 drops of peppermint in that jacuzzi bath. That was a very painful experience, one that I will never forget. So I'm going to forewarn you, if you're using peppermint, only use 2 to 3 drops and keep it away from your eyes. Now, another thing that's really interesting to know about peppermint and spearmint, but peppermint in particular, you can take a drop of it. They call it neat when you use it straight. Now, this is the only time you would ever use peppermint neat. Put a drop on your fingertip, and I'm going to do this for you, although you don't have a headache. It will help you feel cooler. So we would put it right across the base of the neck here. Now, if Ashley actually had a headache, this could make her headache go away in 5 to 10 minutes, particularly if she spent a little bit of time, or I spent a little bit of time, rubbing right here along the base of the skull. So how does that feel? Pretty good?
Pretty refreshing.
Okay, super. So we're not going to take the whole time with me just talking about the hydrotherapy, but I also wanted to talk a few minutes about some of the other water temperatures that you can use. For instance, temperatures closer to the body temperature, so let's say 96 to 98 or 99 is considered a tepid bath or a neutral bath. And those are used when you just want to relax. Let's say you've had a long, hard day at the office. You want to take a nice aromatherapy bath or a nice relaxing bath. You put your Epsom salts in the water. You make sure that you add the essential oils to the Epsom salt. Draw the bath. Put the Epsom salt and the essential oils in just as you get into the bathtub. Otherwise, the essential oils will evaporate in the room and the room will smell great, but all of the therapeutic benefit of being in the water will have already evaporated. So when you're using essential oils, add them the moment that you're ready to actually get in the water, whether that's your feet or your body. And a cold bath, let's say she had really achy feet. Another way to deal with that could be a very cold bath. And that would bring fresh circulation in to heat up the feet, so she would get more circulation to her feet, and that can also work really well. Everyone's heard of icing, if you have sprain or strain, and a cold foot bath would help with that. So a couple of other things that the hot foot bath can do it can help abort a cold. So if you've got a cold, you could use something like a rosemary or eucalyptus or tea tree that would help stimulate the lungs. You would put that in the foot bath, and then you would sit back and let that artificial fever work. Another thing that it does is it's just relaxing to have your feet in the water, and it's also going to stimulate more circulation to the feet. If you're someone who has difficulty discerning the temperature of water, let's say you have diabetic neuropathy, then you're going to want to be quite careful about the water temperature that you put your feet in. But it's going to bring more fresh circulation to the feet because the body wants to maintain homeostasis. It's going to want to cool down those feet, and so it will bring more circulation to that area. So that's just a few little things that you can do with the hydrotherapy. It also works very well if you have a headache, if you have a congestive headache. Let's say that your head is pounding and you're feeling flushed and you have a tension headache or a congestive headache as opposed to a migraine headache. Using the hot foot bath is going to draw the blood from the head where there's too much congestion and draw it down to the feet, again, to cool that area. So there's a lot of things that you benefit with in using a hot foot bath that aren't necessarily obvious. Besides that, how does it feel?
Pretty nice.
Great. So I'm going to let Ashley take it away for a few minutes and talk about some of the things that you can do with your hair on your Spa Oasis day, things that you'll want to do to make sure that your hair is the best that it can be. So Ashley, go ahead and take that away.
All right. So just a few basic hair tips that I came up with. First off, for color care, a lot of women color their hair nowadays. That's become more popular to do. So for each different color of hair, there's a few different shampoos and conditioners and products and things that you can use. First off, shampooing. So for blondes, a lot of times you'll notice as soon as you get your color done, it's looking fresh and vibrant and all of the brassy tones are neutralized, everything's looking good. But after a couple weeks, things start fading out or becoming a little bit brassier. We have violet shampoos, which actually will go in and neutralize those brassy tones. You pretty much use these violet shampoos, you substitute your normal shampoo, and you just use this violet shampoo like once a week or so, or whenever you start noticing those brassy tones are coming back. You just use the violet shampoo, and that will help neutralize those brassy tones. They also have colored shampoos for pretty much every other color of hair, especially reds. Reds always fade super fast. So if you get a colored shampoo, so a red shampoo, that will help refresh that color so that you don't have to go into the salon as often to refresh your color. They also have that for brunettes to neutralize brassy tones or enhance warm tones. So for damaged hair, for conditioners, you'll want to do a deep conditioner about once a week or at least a couple times a month, depending on your damage level. But if you color or lighten your hair, you'll always want to use a keratin conditioner. This is the protein that your hair is made up of, is the structure of your hair. And when you color your hair, that protein gets eaten away pretty much. So a keratin conditioner is good to do. I know they do treatments at salons, or you can buy your own conditioner from a salon. And you'll want to do those at least a couple times a week or a couple times a month as well, once again depending on your damage level. And then you'll want to balance with a moisture conditioner. So every other time you do these deep conditioners, you'll want to do a moisture conditioner, because a lot of times the keratin protein will actually make your hair drier. It'll be strengthening the core, but it'll dry out the surface of your hair. So you'll always want to balance with a moisture conditioner. Another thing is you don't want to shampoo every day. That's a big one that a lot of people do. I recommend to try to shampoo at least every other day, because what happens is when you shampoo your hair on a regular basis, it's actually making your hair very dry, or it could make it a lot oilier, because every time you wash away those natural oils, your sebaceous glands, which produce the oils on your scalp, will overdrive. They'll try to replenish all the oil that you're washing away every day. And so if you go at least every other day to wash your hair, you can use like a dry shampoo in between. They have lots of different sprays and powders. Dry shampoos will help eliminate that oil and evaporate it out of your hair and put a nice clean fresh scent in your hair. So that's always a good thing to do, so that you don't shampoo your hair every day and get rid of all of those oils that your hair and your scalp need to be healthy. Another thing is you'll always want to rinse with cold water. You can use warm water when you're shampooing, but you'll always want to rinse out your conditioner, and the last couple minutes of your shower, always use cold water on your hair. This helps to seal down the cuticle, which is the outer layer of your hair, and it helps seal in all of that moisture, and it will actually help extend your color as well. If you have artificial color on your hair, it will help seal that in so that it doesn't fade away quite as fast. Another thing you'll want to remember is that your hair is very, very fragile when it's wet. It's super elastic, and you don't want to comb your hair or brush it very rough when your hair is wet, because it is so fragile and you don't want to overstretch it or break it. And another thing, you definitely do not want to pull your hair up into a ponytail when it's wet, because when it dries, your hair shrinks, and then you can cause a lot of breakage in your nape area or even on your front hairline. So do not ever put your hair in a tight ponytail when it's wet. For styling tips, if you blow dry your hair, you'll always want to angle the blow dryer downward, so that once again the cuticle of your hair is being pressed down and sealed in, so all the moisture is being sealed in, and that will also reduce frizz and flyaways and breakage, all sorts of stuff. And for curly hair, you never want to use a normal blow dryer. You'll want to get an attachment that you can put on your blow dryer. It's called a diffuser, and that will help disperse the heat and the pressure of the air, so that you're not using a bunch of pressure, and naturally curly hair will turn into an afro when you use the blow dryer. So you'll want to get a diffuser attachment. You put it on the blow dryer, and you can flip your hair upside down, and you'll want to use a leave-in conditioner. That's very, very important for naturally curly hair, and for naturally any hair type in general, unless if you have super fine hair. It's always good to use a leave-in conditioner to help restore that moisture balance. But anyway, so for curly hair, you can flip your hair upside down, use a diffuser, and that will help seal in the little ringlet curls instead of making it into a giant frizzy mess. And leave-in conditioners are one big thing that has been worked on the last couple decades. There wasn't a lot of leave-in products available for a long time, and they've been definitely advancing with all of that. One of my favorites is called It's a 10 leave-in conditioner. It's pretty much your all-over leave-in conditioner. It has pretty much everything you need to, including a heat protectant, which is once again always very, very essential for you to use, especially if you curl your hair or flat iron it or blow dry it. And naturally curly hair is much more susceptible to being dry. So once again, naturally curly haired women always need to be using either a curl cream or a leave-in conditioner. And I always say to use the leave-in conditioner from your ears down, because this helps prevent your roots from getting greasy. And that goes for everyone. Once again, everyone can use leave-in conditioners. They help pretty much everyone. They extend your color. There's all sorts of different ones to use, but that's always a good idea, especially to use a heat protectant as well. And a lot of leave-in conditioners have that included into the leave-in conditioner. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh wait, hold on. One other thing about the whole unwashed hair thing. One good thing to know is if you're doing updos or curling your hair will stay a lot better if your hair is unwashed for at least 1 to 2 days. And once again, you can use a dry shampoo if you're concerned about your roots looking greasy, but your hair when it's freshly washed does not hold anything. It will go flat like almost immediately. So it's always good to let your hair be for at least a day, at least 24 hours before you do do any updo styling for formal events or just curling your hair. It's always good to leave it.
Excellent.
All right.
Thank you, Ashley. I
No
appreciate
problem.
those tips. I'm going to zoom out a little bit here and join Ashley in the picture. So Ashley, the next thing that we're going to do is exfoliate your feet. So let's get them out of this water. We're going to be using it to rinse the product off in a moment. We'll do this one too. Got a nice soak going on there. Our little prune feet. We'll push this aside. Okay. No, because we're going to rinse with that in just a moment. Okay, so Ashley, I'm going to show you two different kinds of exfoliation that you could do for your feet. As you know, our feet get dry, especially in the summer, like they are now, and we walk around with our shoes off and makes our feet dirty, and then they get dry and sometimes kind of scaly. I noticed when I was out walking that my feet got dry enough that they looked like they were kind of peeling, so I had to put some moisturizer on them. So I want to show you two different kinds of exfoliant. So the exfoliant is going to take off the dead skin cells and prepare the skin to receive hydration, moisture. So everyone's heard of the sugar or salt scrub, and you can buy those in drugstores, health food stores, a little bit of everywhere. But when I do an exfoliation treatment, particularly a salt scrub, I was taught to do it a little bit differently, and it adds a tactile experience that's a little bit different. So basically, Ashley, I'm going to talk you through it. You're going to rub this oil on the top of your foot, just 1 foot. That's it. Perfect. And now I want you to sprinkle the salt on your foot. It's going to be just like this. Now scrub it. How does that feel?
Invigorating.
Invigorating, yes. Exfoliation, especially with a sugar or salt scrub, is definitely invigorating. In fact, the coarser the salt you use, the more shredded, the more it's going to take off. So if sugar is actually a smaller granule, and it's going to be a little less abrasive, I guess that's the word I'm after. So let's go ahead and do the bottom of that foot also. I wanted you to experience both kinds so you could tell me what you think feels the best to you. Now, of course, it's always nice when this one you may have to put the salt in your hand and now scrub the bottom of your foot with it. It's nice to experience two different ways of doing it so you can decide. All right, and then kind of get between the toes as well, because that's a place where we get a lot of excess cells. All right, now we're going to bring that water right back. So you're just going to want to line up all your products, your ingredients, and have them close. And now just rinse your foot off a little bit with that. Great. Now the oil is going to leave your foot not slimy, but a little bit hydrated, which is nice. Now another reason that I like to do the salt or sugar scrub in this way is that the base oil, usually a vegetable oil, could be a nut oil, tends to oxidize or go rancid very quickly, and you'll notice that. So you don't know how long your product has been sitting on the shelf when you buy it, and when it oxidizes, it's actually pretty unhealthy for you. There we go. You give that for your hands. So you want to make sure that, let's say you have a bottle of oil like this. A lot of them are packaged in these high density plastic bottles. If it starts to suck in the sides, that oil has become rancid. It is oxidized, and you shouldn't use it on your skin. Everything that we put on our skin is absorbed directly into our bodies, just as surely as if we ate it. So it's really important to use quality products, quality oils. One of my favorite oils, and that's what this is a grapeseed oil. It's very light, and it's good for the skin, it's good for the body. Whatever's good for your body is going to be usually good for your skin as far as absorption. So that was kind of an interesting experience. Did you like it? Did it feel good? Okay. Now this is a commercial product. It's a foot scrub. It's going to have little granules in it. The best products to use as far as granules are ones that have either an apricot kernel or a walnut shell, something natural. Sometimes the beads that you find will actually be over abrasive to the skin and can leave it open to infection. So I'm going to give you a little bit of this. I'm going to give you a lot of that. And there you have it. See how we do that in unison? We like that quite a lot. Another thing we like to do, although we never talk about it, is we show up in the same colors. Wherever we go, we're in the same colors, and it's just a psychic
Someone
thing.
has to change.
That's right. All right, Ashley, how does that one feel in comparison?
Doesn't really feel like it's adding up to the other one. It's the salt kind of did a little bit more. It feels like, but this one's fine.
So the natural scrub of sugar or salt, which you're going to have in your kitchen, actually feels superior. This one has a little peppermint in it, so you probably feel a little tingling as well.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll pull this over again and let you rinse your foot off. All right, the next thing we're going to do, now that we have exfoliated, scrubbed the feet, and we've soaked them, so they're going to be ready to be exfoliated because they were soaked first, we're going to do a mask. Now, I really love to take care of my feet. Our feet are often underappreciated. I love to go for a pedicure, but sometimes they get a little carried away with their trimming and their filing, and I end up with injuries, which concern me. I like to be really careful with sanitation.
Yes, you always want to be cautious because a lot of places aren't up to standard with their disinfecting, and a lot of fungus and bloodborne pathogens can be passed.
Staph, MRSA.
Yeah, a lot of things can be passed through the foot baths not being properly cleaned or their tools. I think those little slicer things, the mandolins, I think they're called.
Oh, they're awful.
You'll see those people using them for pedicures. Those
Explain
are actually
what that is exactly. Where they're actually
it's actually
slicing off.
It's kind of like a little cheese grater for your foot, and it's like literally slicing off chunks of your skin. And obviously you can see the potential in if it slices a little bit too far, then you have an open wound, and who knows if that tool has been cleaned properly. And there's just all sorts of hazardous things that can come from that. But a lot of places have actually outlawed it. I think actually in our county or in our state,
it is illegal in Washington.
Those are illegal. So there's just a few things that you want to look out for. Just always be cautious of where you go to get your pedicures done.
Indeed. I have heard some real horror stories of people talking to an attorney, actually, who was one of my clients. And she talked about a woman that she was representing who picked up MRSA. That's really, really serious staph infection, which can turn into the horrible necrotizing fasciitis, which is the flesh-eating disease. And it happened in the salon, and she could see the red streak going up her leg during the time of the pedicure. So just be careful. In fact, I have diabetes, so I'm very careful with my feet. I bring my own pedicure equipment with me if I'm going to get a pedicure. That way I know they're sanitary. And I don't care if they're fended or not, I ask them to please sanitize the bowl and the equipment in front of me. And if they won't do that for you, I think you should go somewhere else. So on to the next phase, we're going to mask her feet. And these are little bread bags that I got from, this one was actually from Safeway. You can get them probably anywhere where they have enclosures for your food. The reason I like these is that they're pretty inexpensive. It's about $3.50 for that box of 75. Now if I order these from my spa supply place, these are going to be about 50 cents each. So these work for either the hands or the feet. I use them a lot when I'm doing paraffin. So we dip the hand in the paraffin a couple of times, make some layers, put it in there. So what we're going to do, Ashley, is that very attractive water now is getting a little brackish. We're going to put this whipped gel mousse on your feet. It has a little peppermint and eucalyptus in it. Go ahead and put that on both your feet, and then we're going to put them in these cute little bags. There we are. Yep, get it all over. And another reason I like these is that they're big enough to fit on the hand or the foot. So here's one. Now, this is my invention. If you buy the little booties again from the spa supply place, I don't know, $35, $40. This is, I'm a bit of a seamstress. I've sewn for many years. This is a hand towel. And I made this, folded it in quarter, then folded it in half, put a seam here and here, attached a little bit of elastic with a zigzag, and this will fit right over her foot. That will help keep it a little bit warmer and seal it in. So let's slide one of these on. Aren't those special? There we go. All right. So she's going to have her little booties going on with the mask there. While we're doing this part, I'm going to show you on my feet, because hers are busy, some of my favorite reflexology tools. Now, reflexology is near and dear to my heart, and I'm not going to make any specific medical claims here about what it will do for you. But I can tell you for certain, I believe I wouldn't be here to give you this presentation were it not for some excellent reflexology work that I had done. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. So here's a little story. My beautiful daughter here was 6 months old, and I was very, very ill, and it happened shortly after her birth. And I went through months of testing, and finally I got a diagnosis of adrenal insufficiency, but more accurately, it was complete adrenal failure. Now that was caused because I spent my entire life up to that point in a pretty horrific state of fight or flight. That would be the best way to term it. And my adrenal glands could not keep up with the production of the fight or flight hormones, and eventually they failed. At that point, I was told I was going to die by my endocrinologist and every medical specialist that I saw. Well, I tried really hard to get Ashley here, and as you can see, we're still here together. And they put me on massive doses of prednisone, which has side effects of its own, but it kept me alive for a while. I was in the hospital 13 to 14 times a year with them pumping hundreds of milligrams of prednisone into my body to keep my heart from stopping. So needless to say, adrenal failure was a big problem for me, and I spent 7 years more dead than alive, as they say in The Princess Bride, mostly dead all day. And it was through my exposure to massage therapy and the alternative health avenues that I was exposed to that literally saved my life, and reflexology was a big part of it. So I'll tell you very quickly how that happened. It's kind of an interesting story. I was completely bedridden, unable to care for myself or my young children. I also have a son who is 20 months older than Ashley, and my sister had to move in and take care of us. I was unable to do that, and it was a pretty frightening experience for all of us. And she was meditating very intently about what she could do to help me to get better, because I was told, go home and get your house in order. You're not going anywhere. And this very, very strong impression came to her that she needed to rub my feet. So she came in and she woke me up and she said, hey, I just have this really strong feeling that I need to rub your feet. And I didn't know what that's about. I'm like, I was sleeping. Now this was long before I really understood or knew anything about reflexology, but I thought about it. She said, no, it's a really strong impression. We need to do this. And so I remembered that in my file cabinet, this was long before the internet or anything like that, there was a foot reflexology guide that had been given to me by my grandmother, who was then deceased. So she went in and got it, and we pulled out that foot reflexology map, and she began working on my feet, and sure enough, the adrenal reflex, which is, you want to hold these for me? Vanna, my lovely assistant. The adrenal reflex, this represents the waistline here, is right about here. And at that point, my adrenal reflex was about the size of a 50-cent piece. It should be more like this size, and hard as a rock. And as she worked on it, I actually felt fairly nauseous. But after several times a day for several months, I got out of my bed, was well enough to start taking care of my children, and then through some other alternative therapies, including adrenal bovine. I took adrenal supplement from cattle. During the time there was mad cow disease, which was very frightening, I was able to heal from that. And 7 years later, my endocrinologist said, listen, I don't know how you did this, but you're well. When I tested you the first time, your adrenal function, your cortisol function, which helps our bodies with inflammation, controls inflammatory response, and also the adrenaline and noradrenaline. He said it was as low as if we had taken out your adrenal glands. And after that, it was on the high side of normal. So, long story short, I want to show you where your adrenal reflex is, so that as you become stressed in your life and things are going on, you may experience adrenal fatigue, and we do not want it to progress to adrenal failure. So it's right here. If you push on it and you've been having some extensive stress in your life, you're going to know it's there. So in reflexology, anytime that you feel a hard knot or it's uncomfortable, that means that area is out of balance. Now, we don't use foot reflexology to diagnose, but we can use it to assess where an area is out of balance. So again, it's going to be right here. Now, most of you are not real skilled in reflexology, and so these are my favorite tools. If I don't have someone that I can go to for reflexology, I use these tools. This is a little roller that you rub your feet over, and we do it like this. Now you have to kind of turn your foot to the side to get the adrenal reflexes. Okay? This is wonderful to use after a day of standing. This is a spiky tool. Looks like a weapon, am I right? And this one is going to get your attention. And you can roll that all over your whole foot. Now, I could do an entire class on reflexology, but I'm just going to give you some basics here. And my feet are actually a little bit dirty from being in those sandals, which I wear outside all the time. I have summer feet. Isn't that special? And this is a tool that I use a lot for working on trigger points, but it's also excellent for working on reflexes, and you can do this. So again, any place you feel that's a little bit tender or sore, that's a place that's out of balance and needs some work. So very quickly, I'll tell you what each place on the foot represents, and then we're going to take your mask off and move on. So the head represents the big toe. I'll try that. The big toe represents the head. A little dyslexia going on there. Across here, and the top of it represents the brain. The top of the toes also represents the brain. This is going to be the eyes and the sinuses. This will be the lung, and on the left foot, the heart area. Everything between the ball of your foot, just underneath the ball of your foot, this represents the diaphragm area. So right here. This is the midline. So this is going to, right here represents the spine. And when I'm working on people who have spinal problems, we spend a lot of time on the instep here. Everything between these two places is going to represent the torso and the organs in the torso. The arch is the waistline, and this represents the intestines. Here is bladder, kidneys are going to be here, and adrenals about here. And then right at the bottom here is going to be the sciatic. On the top of the foot, we've got the lymphatic reflexes. On the sides, because it's midline, you can remember this part is the uterus. And on the outside here would represent the fallopian tubes. All right, so that's just a very quick lesson in reflexology. Let's bring that nice cool bath now forward. Let's rinse off your feet, and we'll get started with our next segment. So go ahead and we'll take your cute little booties off. There you go. All right, go ahead and dip your feet in, rinse them off, and dry them off. The stones in there feel good to the bottom of your feet. I notice when I'm giving spa treatments and people are soaking in the foot bath, they're always moving their feet along on the stones. It's kind of fun. All right. So let's dry your feet, and then we're going to end with hydrate. So you're always going to exfoliate and then hydrate. So this is a commercial product. It has some peppermint and lavender in it, and it's a deep moisturizer for the feet. So we'll let you go ahead and put that on. All right. Hi, we're back. My daughter made a point. She wondered if everyone really needed to know that much about the adrenal reflexes. And so of note, I would say 75 to 80% of the people who come into my office tell me that they're experiencing significant stress and that adrenal reflex is actually pretty hard and they can feel it. So it feels crunchy or knotted or hard, or I get gnarly. They tell me, yeah, that feels pretty gnarly. So is this a really big thing in our society right now? A lot of people are experiencing adrenal fatigue, but not all out adrenal insufficiency. So let's take care of it before it gets to that place. Now I want to show you another practice to help balance the energy meridians in your body. Now these are the acupuncture meridians. They've been around for around 5,000 years now. The Chinese had this figured out a long time ago. This is something that I learned in a Touch for Health class, and I don't know where it originated. It was taught by a man named Kennedy Powell, and he gave us this instruction how to do this. Now, there are multiple energy meridians, and they run different ways in the body, and so this is not completely how the meridians run, but it's kind of a basic way of the ones that run up the body, we do those. The ones that run down the body, we do those. So it's kind of an overall basic thing, and I call it an instant meridian balance. So instant meridian balance, and I'm going to show you what that looks like now. And why you would want to do this is that it allows your body to create the proper energy flow of these meridians, and that will in turn give your body the optimal way for you to have your health. It stimulates your body's natural healing response. So it's really important. I've received many acupuncture treatments in my life, and I found it to be a very helpful therapy. It's no longer in the realm of, hey, does it work, does it not work? There are scientific studies that actually prove the existence of acupressure points and meridians, but some people had that figured out a long time ago. So let me show you. It begins at the feet. We start at the instep, and we're going to run our fingertips right up our body, right up the midline, and come right up to the bottom of the lip. Then I'm going to turn around and show you. This one starts at the tailbone. It runs up the center line of the spine. Now my arms don't touch, so we just guess on that. Imagine the energy flowing there. This one stops right at the bottom lip. And then we go from our armpits out, then over the top, and up to the bottom of the ear. Then we do that on the other side. Out from the armpit, over the top of the arm, and up to just below the ear. And then the last thing we do is from the armpits, take it out the side of the body, and go out the big toe. Then we start again. Inside, up the body. Now you can go faster. I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. Up the back side of the body, imagining that those touch. Come around the top of your head to the top of your lip. Again, out the arms, up to the ear, out the arm, up to the bottom of the ear, and outside the feet. Now, you can do that, I would say 3 to 4 times. If you do it in the morning, it's going to help you feel energized and stimulated, I probably wouldn't do it immediately before bed, but maybe an hour before bed, because it's going to help you feel energized. So that is, I don't even know anyone who's doing that. It's a little known secret for you to help balance your body, balance those energy meridians. So go ahead and try that. And the next thing that I want to talk about a little bit is aromatherapy. And I'm just going to address it very briefly. I'm going to sit down here, invite you to join me. So one of the things that I want to talk about is what aromatherapy is and what it's not. So one of the things that I will tell you is that there are a lot of products out there right now that claim to be aromatherapy, and they're not. Unless the essential oil, and essential oils are what make up aromatherapy, unless that essential oil has been distilled from a plant that was actually living, it is not aromatherapy, and it has no therapeutic benefit. So aromatherapy is not just smelling something and receiving therapeutic benefit. It actually goes far beyond that. So as we smell the aromatherapy or the essential oils, let's say cinnamon leaf. As I smell cinnamon leaf, the molecules go into my nose, up through the olfactory system, and into the midbrain. And that bypasses our logical thinking mind and goes straight to the area that is responsible for emotions. And that's why when you smell a scent, it might take you back to an experience that you used to have a long time ago, maybe of a loved one. Maybe grandma always wore a certain perfume, or she always baked oatmeal cookies with cinnamon on the visits when you went to see her. Or maybe the smell of pine reminds you of camping with your family. Whatever those experiences are, the scent and aromatherapy allows you to bypass all of that thinking and go right to the memory. Knowing that, we can actually take essential oils and use them to help us remember things on purpose, so to anchor those. Another application of aromatherapy is that we can use it to change our mood, because it is in that midbrain, in the limbic system, which is responsible for our emotions. So certain essential oils actually affect how we feel. They can help us treat depression or anxiety or grief. And so all essential oils are antiseptic. Some of them are antiviral, some of them are antifungal. And interestingly, I learned recently of a test where they tested 106 essential oils against MRSA, methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus. MRSA is very horrible, and it will cause terrible problems. Anyway, there's very few antibiotics that will treat it, but essential oils can. And I want to point this out to you because this is a very virulent problem in our gyms right now and school lockers. That is the place where people are most often contracting MRSA now, where it used to be in hospitals or nursing homes. So the essential oils that will kill MRSA are lemongrass. It will kill it on contact within 60 seconds in a petri dish. And then tea tree and eucalyptus will treat MRSA also, but it takes about 10 minutes to kill it. So if you're going to the gym, make sure that you sanitize the equipment before you sit down and use it, and then after. And if they don't have any sanitizer, make sure to bring your own. Get yourself a little spray bottle, put a carrier of, let's say, vodka or witch hazel, fill the rest with water, and put 50 or 60 drops of a combination of tea tree, eucalyptus, and lemongrass. So aromatherapy has been used anciently for thousands of years. The Egyptians used it. It's been used in many cultures, and I could spend another hour talking about the history of it. But for our purposes, we're going to talk about that we use aromatherapy to change our mood, to help enhance our body's response to illness, to fight illness, to fight it's antibacterial, it fights pathogens. It also increases oxygen in the bloodstream, and it will also help to improve your mood or change your mood. some essential oils have actually got aphrodisiac properties, so you can use them to enhance the experience with your loved one. So that's just a little bit about aromatherapy. I also want to caution you that don't just use it if you don't know anything about it. If you go to my website, www.livelifeLikeACruise, you can find some information on aromatherapy that will have the dilution rates so that you can use that and learn a little bit more about the essential oils. I don't have time for that at this point, but it's a really important part of my life. I use it every day. As I mentioned in the introduction, I've been a certified aromatherapist for 21 years, and I hope that this is something that you will use in your own life, not just for relaxation, but for better health. So that's just a very brief overview of aromatherapy, and we're going to be using some aromatherapy next in our scalp treatment. So I'll invite my daughter back. We're going to do a scalp treatment, and then I'm going to show you some some acupressure points for balancing the emotions. So we'll use the essential oils in a scalp treatment. So let's go ahead and we'll do that now. All right, in this segment, we're going to talk about some acupressure points to help balance your emotions. And we're going to talk about a little bit about aromatherapy and which essential oils you might want to choose when doing a scalp massage. And I'm going to show Ashley how to do a scalp massage. Then we'll be talking a little bit about how you would do a facial steam for yourself, although we're not going to do that because it will melt our makeup. And we'll go to our next section on the body. So here we go. You'll notice at this point we're pretty casual. Shoes are off. That's how it works here. It's the spa. So I wanted to talk to you about just a couple of acupressure points that will help you to relax. They will help soothe anxiety. They will help with depression. Some of them help with headaches. And there's a lot of them, and you can find a full resource on those on my website, www.livelifeLikeACruise.com. But I'm going to show you just a few right now that you can do to help soothe you. Now, you might want to do these while you're having your hot foot bath. You might want to do these as you're laying down to go to sleep at night. You might want to do these at your desk if you're feeling particularly stressed. So when I do treatments for people and they come for massage and they tell me what's going on with them, then I will apply certain acupressure points to meet and balance the needs that they have emotionally. So first one that I wanted to talk about is right here. You're going to come to the, I'm going to show you first and then I'll show Ashley. So it's right at the arch of your eyebrow, and then you come up just a little bit and you'll find a little hollow right here. This is gallbladder 14. So right here, so you come from the arch and you move up right there. Do you feel a little hollow? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now when you push on these, is that sore at all?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what that indicates is this area on Ashley and often on me is a little bit out of balance. So if an acupressure point is sore, it means you need to work on it. And that helps your body. It's going to give it the opportunity to bring some stimulus to that area and to balance it out and heal it. So this one is one for releasing trauma, anxiety, especially good for helping to overcome difficulties of the past. I'll tell you a quick story about that. When my daughter was born, it was a nightmarish experience. They had to resuscitate her. She had no lung or heart activity whatsoever. She was my 8th pregnancy. I'd lost 7 other children. It was a terrifying experience. And so when I went later to have, again, a Touch for Health class, the instructor talked to us about how this was a place to be able to release trauma that might have happened in the past. So he had us hold this point and close our eyes and see what came up in our mind. And at that point, my daughter was about 1.5 years. And immediately the thing that came up in my mind was this horrific experience of wondering whether my daughter was going to live or not. And so he had us close our eyes and imagine that experience, whatever our trauma was, and we didn't have to talk about it. And then just run that memory in our mind, play the film in our mind while holding the points until not only was the point not as sore, but the emotions and the intensity of the emotions that you felt had dissipated. So then it was just a scene. And I did that. And it took a little while, 10-15 minutes of running that film over and over until my body calmed down and my nervous system was calmer and I was able to breathe. And from that moment forward, I did not feel trauma surrounding that experience. So this is a very, very powerful point. Gallbladder 14, again, good for emotional balancing, but it's also an excellent point for headaches. I use it frequently for my clients. Now I'm going to show you another point. This is large intestine 4. So you're going to come to where the bones meet here in the webbing between the index and the thumb. Now for me that's extremely developed because of all the massage. I'm guessing it will be on you as well, Ashley. And so you find where the bone meets and then you back off just a little bit. Is that tender? For most people it is, and often you'll find that one side is more tender than the other. Now a note of caution, this is not a point that you want to work on pregnant women. Do not work this on pregnant women until they're actually ready to deliver, and then it's an extremely helpful point to work on. I worked on a client who was pregnant and showed her this point and also the reflex here on the foot that you can, this correlates with the uterus, and you can use those to help stimulate strong contractions when you're actually ready to deliver. And she told me that her husband worked not only the large intestine 4 but also the reflex here, and that while they had the monitor strapped to her stomach, they could see the contractions getting stronger. So you don't get much stronger proof than that. So this point is excellent for stress and anxiety and pretty much physically anything to do with the head. So jaw pain, tooth pain, it's excellent for headaches. And so pretty much anything, eye strain that has to do with the head, this is going to be a great point for that. It's considered one of the major points in acupressure. Now I'm not an acupuncturist, but I practice acupressure frequently in my spa treatments and also for myself. I want to show you one. Did you have a question?
I was thinking how to describe the movement to work on these.
Excellent. Okay.
What I've noticed is using a firm pressure and doing small circles.
Excellent.
Back and forth seems to be the best way to work on any of the points here. I know she's so used to doing them that she doesn't really get into the fine detail of explaining the details of how to actually do that. So small circles, you can use a little bit of pressure.
Excellent point. She's right. I do it so often sometimes I forget I'm teaching someone else. So this is actually called circular friction. She's exactly right. You can also just hold direct pressure and you can alternate circles and direct pressure. So you can use fingertip pressure or thumb pressure. So depending on where you're working on. So the next point that I want to show you is it's called actually in some systems, the chakra system, it's called the third eye. So locate your eyebrows. It's going to be right in the center. So right in the center. And if you move down just a little bit, is there a little hollow or indentation there? I know there is on mine, but everyone's skull is shaped different. So this point is good for eye strain. It's good for headaches. It's good for any kind of disorder with pain. I read a very interesting article on the internet about how this, and it's called yin tang or third eye. It's an extra point in the acupressure system. It was used instead of anesthesia for dental surgery. And that's not what I'd want to do. But it was so effective in creating pain relief and calming and sedating the nervous system that it is used in some places in place of anesthesia. So this is one that you can use when you're feeling stressed or anxious and you want to be calmer and focused. It will help to ground you. And the chakra system, it's meant to bring you insight into yourself. So that is yin tang. I want to show you another one that's in the center of the chest. It's a little awkward to show you, but it's a very important point. It is called Sea of Tranquility. So I want you to go and locate the bottom of your sternum, where that, it's called the xiphoid process. Most of us have a bra in the way. I want you to go up between the cleavage, if you have it. You might not. And it's going to be in line with the nipples. It's going to be right in the center of the sternum, and it's right, so about 3 fingers width. See, my fingers don't work that way. 3 fingers width up from the bottom of the sternum, or the xiphoid process. For me, it's an extremely tender point. Is it for you as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know right where it is.
Oh yeah, I've located that. And that's an experience that you'll find is that most often you're going to know for sure when you're on the right spot, because it's going to be pretty uncomfortable. So you would just hold this spot. And it is called, again, Sea of Tranquility. And I think the name pretty much says it all. It's going to help you with anxiety, stress. It's very soothing and calming to the nervous system. In fact, when I'm holding this point, it's hard for me not to just take deep, expansive breaths. It almost reflexively does that as you hold this point. This is a point that's also very good for people who've been through any kind of assault, abuse, people experiencing PTSD, and that sort of thing. So it's a very powerful thing. So I would just say, in using acupressure points for emotional balancing, if you are receiving therapy from a psychotherapist or a mental health professional, go ahead and let them know that you're doing a program to help balance your emotions, and then just keep in touch with them. But these are very powerful ways that you can use to help calm you down, and I think they're an important part of your spa day. Again, there are many more that you can find on my website, but that's all I want to cover at this point for the basics. How was that? Did that help a little?
Oh yeah.
Excellent.
I didn't know about a few of those points myself, and I've lived with you my whole life, so
And
good to know.
that's an interesting point she makes, because I know these things inside and out. I've been doing them all of her life, but Ashley and I have not taken the time for me to tell her much about what I do, and for her to tell me much of what she does. So you get to receive the benefit from that as well. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get into the scalp massage. Now, when I do spa treatments, this is one of the absolutely most requested treatments. People love to have their scalp rubbed. Ashley could tell you that that's what, the favorite thing at the shampoo bowl.
Yep.
I have people tell me literally every day, I like to go get my hair done maybe more often than I need to, because I love the scalp massage. So let's make sure that we include that in your spa oasis at home. This is vitamin E. I got this at actually Trader Joe's. Love that place. You may or may not have one in your area, but you can get vitamin E in a health food store, and some grocery stores are more progressive. They'll have that. Vitamin E is really healthy for the skin, and it helps with scarring and all kinds of things. So I use vitamin E in my scalp treatment, and most of it is the base of jojoba oil. Jojoba is excellent for dry scalp, and it's used as a hair tonic. So I use mostly jojoba and a little bit of vitamin E, and then we choose an essential oil for that. So I'm just going to take a little container here. When you're using essential oils, make sure you have a high density plastic and do not spill essential oils. Oh, it still has the childproof seal. I don't have fingernails, so I have her assistance here. My lovely assistant, Ashley. So I use jojoba, and I use vitamin E, and then we choose an essential oil to help uplift. And so some of the oils that apparently it is really childproof, we may have to get serious here.
There you go.
Perfect. All right, so put about an ounce of the jojoba in, and then we'll put some vitamin E in. And then we just use it a few drops at a time, and I'll show you how I do that. So I'm about a half an ounce with the jojoba, and I'm just going to top it off with some vitamin E. And then Ashley, we're going to choose an essential oil for your scalp that's going to be uplifting, maybe a little energizing, or maybe a little calming. And we're going to leave that to your body to decide, because your body has the wisdom to know, do I need to be energized or do I need to be sedated? So I'm going to give you a couple of choices. This is lavender. Everybody loves lavender. Lavender is actually one of the oils that balances. So if you need more energy, it will bring you more energy. If you need more sedation, it will do that. So it's tonic. You've grown up with lavender. We use, in fact, lavender is one of the major oils. It does so many things. So lavender is fabulous. Geranium's another one that is it's a very subtle oil. Geranium can smell like just about any plant. There's rose geranium, pineapple geranium.
Oh, it smells kind of rosy.
Kind of rosy, yeah. It's kind of warm. Geranium's used a lot in perfume. It's uplifting. Does it feel just soothing when you smell that? Okay. So I like to use really all flower oils, particularly for the scalp massage. And lemongrass seems to be the all-time favorite for my clients. So I'll give them a couple of florals. And this is lemongrass. Lemongrass, as we talked about, is
I love that.
highly antiseptic, but yes, it's like the, oh yeah, that's it. Very refreshing, uplifting. And so this is, lemongrass is actually really great astringent. So lemongrass is what you'd like. So I would put my cap on, and I'm just going to do it for you. Hold your hand out. We're going to put a few, just like a line of oil. You know, watch your carpet. I'm going to do some myself as well. Nope, and the lemongrass is coming. She said, did you put any lemongrass on? Not yet. So, and then I just put like 1 drop. Lemongrass is very, very concentrated and can be a skin irritant. Did you get it?
Yeah.
There we are. Now, rub it between your fingers like this and smell it first. So, a nice deep inhale and relax. And now I want you to take it right up to your scalp, starting at the front, and just work it into your scalp. Now, it's way more fun to have someone else rub your scalp, but if you have to do it yourself, it's not bad. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Ashley, how does rubbing your scalp affect, let's say, hair growth or stimulation to the scalp?
It's very stimulating just to the general skin in the area. It helps your hair grow a little bit faster. The circulation helps a lot with pretty much everything. So it'll help your oil glands work, which helps your scalp stay healthy, and also stimulates the hair follicles as well so that those can grow. So just in general, circulation to your scalp, and rubbing your scalp is good for your hair and your scalp in general, for everything.
So we're going to come to the base of the skull now. Rub there. Pay special attention. You can't see my hair because of my hair. Right underneath the base here. This is where a lot of people get tension headaches. I want to point out right here at the top of your spine there's a little hollow. Stay away from that. All of the cranial nerves exit from there. It's an endangerment site. Leave that one alone. Then work all through the back of your head and up through. This is actually part of your jaw. This is the temporalis muscle.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that until someone works on it right there and they're like, whoa,
Whoa, that's
what
pretty
is
tight.
that?
You know, Ashley, I have heard that a lot of people who are losing hair, they're afraid to brush or they're afraid to do anything because of the hair falling out, but that's kind of counterintuitive, right?
Yeah, you need to have constant refreshment and stimulation to your scalp and your hair in general. Obviously, you want to be gentle with it, but just a good boar brush, something with those soft board bristles. It's always good to run it through at least once a day. It'll help get all of the dead, flaky skin off and refresh the circulation to that area, and that will help your hair grow.
Beautiful.
Circulation helps everything.
Circulation is good. So very briefly, I'm going to show you what I do after that. I work on the face just a little bit. We're going to start right here at the scalp, at the hairline, and just do some circular friction. You can go pretty hard on the forehead and any place where you've got like little lines. That's a good place to spend a little extra time and rub that. You're going to bring some stimulation and circulation to that area, and it actually can help reduce some of those fine lines. Then come around to the temples. Don't go crazy on the temples. You want to go fairly light pressure. I notice mine are pretty tight. And then work your way down the jaw. Jaws are nearly always tight on people. Just spend a little bit of time there. Come right up underneath. Here under the sinuses. Just work a little bit like that, across there. And then a little bit just under the nose. This is an acupressure point that's really good to use to stimulate. And this one for the sinuses. Okay, so we've done a little bit with faces, a little bit with scalp. Just kind of rub down your neck a little bit. Stimulate the lymphatic system. So we're really warm now, and we're going to do our last segment on the body. So it's this head to toe pampering for yourself, and I'm going to show you some things that you can do laying on the ground on a little exercise mat to help relax your body. So you do your head, your feet, and your body, and then end the night. Okay? So we're going to do that segment next. Let's get set up for that. Join us in a moment. So Ashley brought up a point about how we do the scalp massage. Again, I'm so used to doing it that I forget to instruct you exactly. Go ahead, take it away.
Alright, so instead of doing like surface friction, like actual like brushing on the skin, you want to keep your fingers in one place and try to massage through the muscles underneath, because there's so many different muscles under your scalp. Those are what we are targeting for the massage, not the skin itself.
Excellent point. All right, for our next segment, we are going to very briefly talk about how to do the facial steam. We're not actually going to do it, but we're going to talk about it. And then I'm going to show you some fun techniques, including body brushing. So I'll show you that, and then we're going to get Ashley on the mat to lay down. So this is our little exercise mat, and I found it to be somewhat sticky. So we're going to put, because we're warm, we're going to put the towel over that. So I'm going to come around and join Ashley now. All right. So this is what we call a back buddy, and it's a neck roll. I keep it in a cover because then you can wash the cover and your neck oils don't get absorbed in that. I actually made this, and I'm going to tell you my secret to the neck roll and also to the eye pillow. What I filled it with, so this is actually denim fabric. It's going to be really durable, and the seeds inside won't poke through. I've seen people make it with other materials, and it's not as good. So use denim. This is actually a piece that's about 9 by 11 inches, so 9 wide, 11 inches long. And then there's a center seam down it to make chambers. The beauty of that is these chambers allow you to put it underneath your neck when you roll it up and you heat it, and then it helps to reinforce the cervical curve. I can't tell you how many clients come and tell me, my doctor or my chiropractor told me I have a reverse curve. So our necks are supposed to curve like this, and sometimes they curve like this. So you get a little heat on that, you roll your neck over it, and it's going to help really relax the muscles, be very, very beneficial to your spine. But I would, again, keep it in a sleeve. So we're going to be putting Ashley onto this mat in just a moment.
You started to tell them what's in it.
Oh, yes, the magic is, the magic is millet. So millet will hold the heat really well. It makes it a little bit moist heat. You take this pack and you warm it in the microwave for 2 to 2.5 minutes. And so where would you get millet? Well, you can get it at usually a granary or a health food store. But this actually, we got it at the Feed and Seed store, and it's bird seed. So get something that has a high millet content, and then this one also has some black sunflower seeds to it. And oh gosh, we've used one for 10 years. It holds the heat for 20-25 minutes. It's phenomenal. So rice will go rancid. You'll be able to pick up smells in it. Corn is too large of a piece to really conform to your body. What else? Flaxseed. Yeah, this is the best thing. So birdseed. We made, do you want to grab the eye pillow there? Made eye pillows with this too. This is just purple satin. This is about 3 inches wide by about 8 inches long. I have a serger, kind of spoiled that way. Again, millet seed, and I also put some dried lavender in this. Now when I use this for clients, I wrap a tissue around it, so a little Kleenex, and then I put on the top so I can see where the essential oil went, a drop of essential oil, so when we put it over their eyes, then it's scented and they have that aromatherapy. So we'll go ahead and show that in a moment.
And essential oils are actually very dangerous to the eyes. You do not want to get any in your eyes or around your eyes.
Right. So we're going to put that down. They're highly concentrated, and it takes sometimes hundreds, if not thousands of pounds of plant material to get a pound of essential oil. So again, yes, that's why we put it on the tissue, so that later on I don't have to go back and wonder which side did I put that essential oil on. And it is also far more sanitary. Okay, so very quickly, if I was going to do a facial steam, I would set it on the table in front of me, probably not like this because it could fall. Put some warm water in it, put a drop of essential oil in it, disperse it, and then put my head down to it. So it would be much like this. You'll be forming a little tent. Isn't that cute? And just steam for 5 or 10 minutes. That's going to open up the pores in your face. It's going to allow the essential oils to be absorbed into your lungs very quickly. And they are circulated then through the lungs, through the bloodstream, and benefit your whole body. So that, again, would be an easy way to do the facial steam. Before we get started with Ashley just laying here, and we're going to do a sacromobilization, which is one of our favorite things to help each other with. And because we both stand all day, often the pressure gets pretty intense on the low back here on the sacrum. Go ahead, stand in front and turn the other way. So this is the sacrum right here, this triangle bone at the bottom of the spine. Okay, that's good. And that can have a lot of pressure on it. If we don't have good posture, we can have an exaggerated curve in the low back, and that's called lordosis. I have lordosis, and some people have not enough curve. So we're going to do some things here on the floor to help with that. But first, body brushing. So you grab a brush. I'm going to show you how to do this. Now, a lot of high-end spas throughout Europe do body brushing. It's not done as often in the United States, but I had a client just squeal when she said, "Wait, you do body brushing?" And I said, "Yes, I do." And she said, "I haven't had one of those since I traveled through Europe." So body brushing, again, has been around for a very long time. Aristotle advocated using it. It's been used throughout the centuries to increase health. So what are the advantages of doing body brushing? Well, we actually use a dry bristle. This is a natural bristle. I believe it's boar's, but I'm not sure. It's a little softer than that. Don't get one that's really stiff. We don't want it to scrape or exfoliate to the extent that you're abrading the skin and leaving that open to infection or microbes going in. So this is a soft bristle. It's just meant to remove the outer layer of dead skin cells. Why is that beneficial? Well, as we age, our cell turnover slows down, and so the cells can remain on the outside, and they're dead, and so they can collect bacteria, and it also just looks uneven, the skin. So you're going to be removing those dead skin cells, which allows more oxygen to penetrate. One of the other advantages of body brushing is it's going to stimulate the circulation of blood flow to the area as you stimulate that. It also helps release endorphins. Endorphins are those feel-good, happy kind of thing that you don't have to run miles to get. You can do your dry brushing. So it releases endorphins, but probably the most important benefit of dry brushing is that it stimulates the lymphatic system. Now, the lymphatic system is the foundation of our immune system, And it's what filters the white blood cells after they've gone in and fought a virus or a bacteria and they die. The lymphatic system or the lymphatic fluid is what carries them to the lymph nodes, and then they're eventually carried into the circulation. So very, very important system. It's again the foundation of our immune system. And very importantly, this is something that not a lot of people know. The lymphatic system doesn't have a pump on its own. So the only way that lymphatic fluid travels through our body is through movement, like when you're walking, running, body movement, and a special kind of breathing, which helps stimulate almost a vacuum response, and that helps to stimulate the lymph flow, and massage and dry brushing. So I want to show you how to use the dry brushing, and we would use it in exactly the same way as if you came and laid on my table and I gave you a lymphatic drainage massage. So first we stimulate where the lymphatic fluid goes back into the circulatory system by the heart. So right here, it's called the subclavian veins. So if you came for a massage, first thing I would do is do some circular friction right here. And actually, we do a little bit of pumping. So you just kind of pump a little bit in and out. And actually, you can do this for up to about 60 times. Just a little pumping in and out. So that's getting the system primed and allowing us to get ready for that. Now, I'm actually going to have you come sit on this side because I think that's a little bit better view for you. Now, I'm going to show Ashley how to do this. We've never done this before together, have we? Okay, and now we're wearing capris because we don't want to give you too much information, but if you're doing this at home, you're going to want to be in your underwear or bathing suit or something because you're going to need as much skin showing as possible. But we decided to spare you on that note. So your dry bristle brush, you want to have one that has a detachable handle. Both of these do. You don't want to share your brush with other people unless you are a very careful sanitizer, which I am. So we already stimulated here where it's going to go back into the blood system. And now we start in the armpits. So this is the axillary area, and this is where we have a lot of lymph nodes. And so very gently in the axilla or the armpit, we're going to do a little bit of circular friction. There you go. Isn't that special? Okay. And the reason we do that first is we want to clear the path to the heart. So we're going to do arms, then we'll do legs, and we do the torso, but we're bringing it all up to the heart. So we stimulate here, and then we're going to go inside the arm. You're just going to do some gentle frictioning, and this is actually to exfoliate first, but we're still going to do it in the direction that we would for lymphatic drainage. So you start closest to the heart, go furthest away, and then you do some stroking. So again, do some exfoliation. We're going to go pretty vigorously here. Feels good, doesn't it? Okay, and then here. Okay, so this is for the exfoliation part. Now let me show you how we work the lymphatic drainage, okay? So I'm actually going to take my handle off to do the arm and then anchor it here on your hand. Okay, and now we're going to do a rolling. So it's like that. That's it, exactly. So you're going to roll. You start here and work toward the wrist. Okay, then do at the top. And then toward the back of the arm. Got it? Now we're going to take some long, slow movements right up to the armpit. That's it. So right up and to the armpit. Take it around the side and then up the bottom into the armpit. And then you can work on hands a little bit, and again another couple of long strokes. Okay, so you would do that on obviously both arms. So you'd start again. We're not going to do it, but just talk about armpit. Then you work the upper arm. So you're going to exfoliate first and then brush up, exfoliate, brush up, exfoliate, brush up, and end with the long strokes into the armpit or the axilla. Okay? Everybody's got that. All right, now, so if I were doing this at home, in the privacy of my home, I'm going to move this so I don't trip The next thing that I would work on would be the torso. So I'm going to have you stand here, and we're just going to do it through our tank tops here. So you would rub the stomach. You're going to move in a clockwise direction because that's the way that digestion works. So you're going to do the exfoliate all around, okay? And then these actually drain right here. This is the inguinal lymph nodes. So we're going to now brush everything down to the lymph nodes, okay? Switch hands, brush it down to the lymph nodes. Next thing we're going to do is the legs. We're going to start with the top of the leg because that's closest to the heart. We brush everything to the inguinal lymph nodes. So start with the inside of the thigh. You're going to do your brushing. And you brush the outside, the back of the leg. Okay. And then we do the bottom of the leg. We do our exfoliation. And then the foot. Now we're going to come up and do the lymphatic brushing. And it's just kind of a rocking motion like that toward the lymph nodes. Okay? And we actually have lymph nodes by our glutes as well. But everything again is coming up toward center line inguinal lymph nodes. And then we do the same thing, the bottom of the leg, bringing it up. A little stimulation on the feet. And then very long strokes up the leg into the lymph nodes. And again, we would do that on both legs. So we've got the idea here. Now we would reattach the handle. This is why you have a handle. And this part actually feels the best. Now I have people come all the time for dry brushing, and they tell me that their favorite is the back. So the handle is so that you can take your lymph brushing yourself. So you do your exfoliation. That was a nice little release of my shoulder there. So reach as far as you can, then come around the top. And then you're just going to stroke up as much as you can to the lymph nodes again, like so. And then in the top, around the sides. Okay, so that is our dry brushing. Again, this is going to help stimulate the lymphatic system. And another side benefit of stimulating the lymphatic system is that it helps to reduce excess water weight. That's a good thing. And very importantly, it's going to help detox your body. So areas that have cellulite in our body, women often get it, especially in the thighs and the buttocks. Those areas have excess accumulation of toxins. And the body goes in and it splints that area with extra water. And the reason that it does that is it's trying to keep the toxins away from the cells. And so until you remove those toxins by stimulating the lymphatic system, you're going to get that dimpled cellulite look, and you're going to have excess water retention there. So side benefit of body brushing and any kind of lymphatic treatment is going to be reduced excess water weight. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do, and this will conclude our Spa Oasis at home, is I'm going to show Ashley how to decompress her spine. This was shown to me by my physical therapist after a very brutal car accident where I was rear-ended someone doing about 50 miles an hour. Totaled my car and totaled my back. So Ashley, what we've done here is I've taken a beach towel, just about that size, and I've just rolled it up as tight as I can. Now another thing that you can do is get the water flotation things, the water noodles, the big long ones, and you can wrap it inside and wrap the towel around. But that's for the more advanced decompression. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it right here in the center of the towel, Ashley, and I want you to lay your sacrum here and kind of the middle of your head right there. So we'll move this for a moment. Now you're not going to lay on this for too long. Make sure it doesn't clip you right in the back of the head. You want it to be right about here where it ends. Otherwise, you're putting pressure on that area that we talked about. Okay, and that's it. And you want to keep your knees up just like that. How does that feel? So really stretch out and open up the pectoral area, your chest.
Letting my shoulders fall back and my head kind of fall back a little bit.
Exactly, because we spend, a lot of us, not just hairstylists and massage therapists, spend our day
like this with a keyboard. They call this flexion. So we become overflexed, and then that creates big round curves in our back. We start getting that dowager's hump, or it's called kyphosis. So we don't want to do this for too long, but about a minute, 2 minutes, and it's amazing. And sometimes my sternum will pop when I do this, just decompresses and releases that. How does that feel?
It's nice. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then you're going to roll to one side or the other and go ahead and take that out. Beautiful. So we'll move that. Now this is another treatment. Go ahead and lay back down. That was shown to me by my chiropractor. No, this was the physical therapist. And it was a vital part of my recovery because I, again, have a lot of attention across the sacrum. It's very important for the sacrum to be moving properly. Otherwise, it does not pump the cerebrospinal fluid up the spinal column and bathe the brain in cerebrospinal fluid. So, if your sacrum is locked up, you're going to know it. It's going to be really uncomfortable. Both Ashley and I have a big problem with that. And so, often she'll come over after work and we'll do this sacral mobilization. So, this is one that you can't necessarily do for yourself, but I want to show you anyway so that you can team up with a partner if you need to. Let's do this leg first so that they can see and I'm not standing in front. You're going to take the knee at exactly a 90-degree angle. You're going to put your hand on top, and the lever is straight down to the back of the sacrum. And you just push down, not real hard, but you're looking to get a little bit of rocking movement there in the hips. So you're pushing down.
Use your knees to stabilize.
If you feel like the leg is falling out here, then you can stand with it like that against you.
And that way they can relax their leg too.
Right, then they don't have to be holding it up. Now I'm going to come around and be in front here. We do it on both legs. Bring it up to 90 again. Now this moves a lot easier on this side. So you go back to the side that's a little bit less flexible.
Usually you have to go back and forth a couple times before you get something
Now it's
to
moving.
move.
You feel that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead. And then just do a little side to side stretching. That's it. Beautiful. Okay, so to end my Spa Oasis at home, I would take my heated back buddy, which we're not going to heat now because we are again in this heat wave. Go ahead and lift your neck. I would put it right underneath, rest my head, and I would put the eye pillow on. Where did we put the eye pillow? Right there. Right here. So we cover it with the tissue. Now if it's your own eye pillow, let the satin be against you. That's a lot more comfy. And Ashley, do you want lavender or lemongrass for your eye pillow?
You can do the lavender. That's good.
Lavender it is. So after I've done my hot foot bath, my scalp treatment, I've done my body balance with the energy, the instant meridian balance, I can say that, and the body brushing. Then I would end by just relaxing with my neck on a neck roll, and a little bit of an eye pillow, and then you can take this same towel, slide it under your knees, and then you can relax your legs a little bit and put it under the knees. There we go. Because you want a little bit of ease on the sacrum there by putting some roll or pillow underneath your knees, so that relaxes the back. How's that feel, Ashley?
Very relaxing.
Good. So your feet feel happy, your head feels happy. You've learned a few things to help balance your emotions, to help the energy meridians in your body flow better. Did you have any questions or comments?
Nope.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. This is Ashley Stewart. I'm Phoenix Alexander. You can find more resources about this class and other classes in my series, Create Your Own Spa Oasis, on my website, www.livelifeLikeACruise.com. Thanks for joining us. Hope you see us on another presentation to make your life better. Thanks. Bye-bye.